Speak up though. Yeah.
Yep. Hi, we're from Animals Asia. We are a British charity based out in Vietnam and China. We have lots of projects going on, but predominantly the project that we're working on is the trying to end the cruel industry of bile farming, where about 12,000 critically endangered bears are kept on these bear farms. They're caged for up to 30 years in hideously cruel, painful conditions, and they're farmed for their bile. So what happens is essentially a bear is taken from the wild, he's put into a cage. He's generally a young bear, so he needs to grow, but he can't because he's kept in this cage, and actually the cage goes into him. So he has sort of septic wounds where he has rust going into his limbs. Quite often, because he's been caught in the wild, he's missing a limb. That open wound is never ever dealt with. He then gets to lie in a coffin type, it's called a crush cage, where he can't move for 20 years. He's stabbed through his stomach with a metal catheter to reach his gallbladder, because that's an easy route to draw the bile out. He's not anaesthetised for this because there's no respect for the fact that animals can feel pain. There's no sterilisation at all. So he has this open wound, which then creates cancerous growth around the wound, septicemia. I mean, there's hideously appalling bears. They lie in their own faeces, they lie in their own urine, they're dehydrated, generally become blind, generally become deaf, and slowly die. They die for about 20 years, and they think that bears live for so long in those conditions because they are stoic, very, very strong animals. I don't know whether my colleagues want to talk about what the bile's used for. Why do these guys want bile?
Well, I think it's been used traditionally for many years. I think it's in a lot of skin treatments, basic things like hemorrhoid cream. I think it's put into wine. I think it's sexual enhancement, shampoo. It goes back years, and as Jo said, totally unnecessary because it can be grown. It's grown in the sanctuaries. Jo Robinson grows it in her sanctuaries. 54 different types of herbs
Do the same job.
Do the same job. And so when we heard about this, we thought, how can we help? Because we can't go to the sanctuaries and physically help, tidying up, clearing up after the animals and the basic level. We can't do anything like that. So we thought, how can we help? They need a lot of money to keep going. So we thought, right, we'll make people aware of it, get signatures on petitions, and try and raise as much money as we can. And it's not all do-goody, because we do have a lot of fun doing this.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's good socially and doing something worthwhile, but having a lot of fun, and that's how we became involved with it, didn't we?
I mean, I think we've all three of us, everybody in the group has thought, how on earth can we live on this planet knowing that this is happening and not do anything about it? So whatever we do, be it on a minor scale or a major scale, we feel that we've all said individually, we've never come across anything quite so cruel. There's huge amounts of cruelty around all over the world, but this is this ongoing, systematic 20 years of absolute pain without 1 minute of release from this pain.
24 hours a day.
Yeah, we thought it's the worst case of right to life I've ever come across. And these bears just need freedom.
Linda's our group leader, and she's been involved for many years.
Yeah, so I've always been into animal things. I love animals, I love bears. When I heard about what happens to the bears, I just had to do something. So we started a group, and now we have a Southampton group. We do have fun, and as well we meet interested people, and nothing can be done. Animals Asia can't do anything unless they've got the money to support their projects, and that's our job. Some of us have been out there to see the bears. We've seen moon bears, and we're totally hooked on them. So I think they're a great organisation to help, and I'm proud of what we do. I hope it does make a difference, and one day all the bears will be free. None of them will suffer like they do now.
I think it's too important to say that the difference with this charity as compared to other charities is that Jo Robinson went out there in 1993 initially, and realised very early on that actually you cannot go as this sort of perceived busy, nosy Westerner and say this is right, this is wrong. She realised there this was going to be a long-term project, and as much as she just wanted to say how vile it was and grab all the bears, she knew that really to make this change it had to be an indigenous change. And so she's worked with the Chinese government, worked with the Vietnamese government in really frustratingly slow circumstances. But that was the only way, because fundamentally in her heart she knew it had to be a change from within. That these guys had to see that this wasn't right, and it was totally unnecessary. And that's what's happening. And in actual fact, in January, interestingly, a bear farm with 400 bears wanted to float on the stock exchange. It wanted to put its market up for people to invest in. And the Chinese people said no to it. The Chinese people said no, we will not endorse this industry. So she is having such an impact, and I think she won some award fairly recently saying, you are teaching us how to love. And that was so sort of culturally, psychologically, emotionally, it's this massive change in these countries that we, to a degree, feared before. So, you know,
people say there's nothing I can do. You know, they see something, turn the page. There's nothing I can do. That's just not true. She started this on her own, and what she's achieved out there is absolutely amazing. She's got respect out there from everyone, and all this change is all come about from Jill Robinson. She's got Chinese people,
she
media, everyone.
All the people who work at the sanctuaries are Chinese. The produce that the bears eat, and my God, these bears eat. It's all local produce, because she wants it to be understood. This is all of us together. We are human beings. In fact, we're all sharing this planet, and we can all do positive things irrespective of where we come from, and that is so important. And they have a right to be themselves, these bears.
When they had that earthquake out there, Animals Aid were first in to help people. They took because they got all the medication and everything, and they were first in to try and help as much as they could.
Fantastic.